A great author once said that love can sometimes be magical, but magic is sometimes just an illusion. You only see the illusion once you fall out of love and not when you're in love. So today on the Nzuri Show, we shall be looking at love and all its realness. The word love as we know it is now so overused and has largely lost its meaning. So today, myself and my girls will be giving our thoughts on the subject. Is love real or just an illusion? On the set with us is Joseph Jock, a fashion designer, the founder of a clothing brand, Zenith Tailors. Joseph is also a pastor and a youth advocate. Welcome to the set, Joseph. We're so glad to have you.
With so many talents.
Yeah, the guy with the many talents, I would
And look
say.
at the colours.
I know. Your hair.
And the hair matching mine.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's
like
a
a
bit of
plum work.
matchy going here. So, yeah. And
Secretly.
you girls are looking very beautiful too
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you.
And you too, Shika. You look
you.
beautiful, as always.
Thank you. We all do. So, Joseph, yeah, we'll get to you. Tell us more about yourself. Like, we've seen you wear so many hats. You're a fashion designer, you're a pastor, you're a youth advocate. What's the why behind all those things? Why do you feel like you need to do more than one thing?
Well, I think to be brief, potential is unmeasured, and we limit ourselves because of society and labels. And I always believe that when I look at myself, I see myself as a reflection of God. And God has abilities that are not limited to one thing. He's a creator, he's a father, he's a judge, he's a king. But he does them effectively in the right timing. Just like juggling. How does someone juggle 3 balls in the air without one dropping? It's focus, but one thing at a time, and following a rhythm. And when you do that, you can be able to do more things. I think for me, fashion has always been something I've always dreamt of.
Yeah.
Preaching is something that I knew God called me to do. And being an advocate for young people is because we don't have a lot of voices around that speaks the issues of young people from a perspective of someone who can relate to them in their age. And this is one of the reasons why I decided to become a youth pastor a few years ago. With the help of God, I realized that it's one way to invest into young people because they are the future and they have so many talents. And so this is just me in a nutshell. And my reason is we all have a purpose in life, and our purpose is not to be better than anyone else, but to be effective in what we are called to do.
Certainly.
And do to the best of our ability.
Love that. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Powerful.
I'm literally like, I'm going to listen to him just the whole time, just
Yes.
him talking. Because I feel like it's good to sort of know what you do and the reason behind it, the why, and to articulate it so well. It's really beautiful that you've been able to sort of connect these dots, because sometimes it's confusing. You don't really know why you're doing
What
things.
you're doing.
What you do.
So then
Yeah.
it's good when you get to the level of saying, okay, now I can connect the dots.
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that's
So
really
that's like finding who you are. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
You know,
who
like,
you
your
are,
purpose,
and you
it goes
just
back.
because not everyone has that.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
I loved it when you said about like why you do what you do, because like how you connected, like you found your purpose, and so you want to empower other young people. Just tell us quickly, as a young black man, in a few words, what are the challenges that you face? Pursuing your potential here in Australia.
Yeah.
Well, you see, environment influence us. I came here to Australia when I was turning 11. And when I came here, I was still young. My brain has not fully developed to a certain degree, but I have to relearn. You see, when you're relearning, is a huge process. And so part of that relearning is understanding the new environment that you're in, how they do things, how they live, the pathways to getting things, because it's not a used environment. So the challenge is learning new ways all the time and changing your mindset and your perspective on how things are done, and accepting that this is your home.
Yeah.
Because I believe that the opportunity for God to bring me and my family and other people is to develop yourself and become somebody else. There's a philosopher, a French philosopher. He said the main purpose in life is to become someone you are not when you were at the beginning. So we can all be born naked, but we shouldn't die like that. We can clothe ourselves, establish things, and leave them behind for our children, and leave a legacy. I believe in legacy. because that's the beauty of human beings. You cannot predict what they can be. That's why you should never judge anyone based on their
Exactly.
That is
circumstances.
so deep.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
So that challenge is to always break the barrier
Yeah.
and try my best to be an example to people that are not yet born, because the fight is always somebody has to set a standard to free people.
Yeah,
You
to
know?
free your
And
own
I'm-
people.
Yeah, I'm inspired by
Yeah.
people like Moses,
Yes.
Joshua. As much as they are biblical character, modern time, people like Martin Luther, the king.
Yeah.
Malcolm
He
X.
spoke,
Wow.
you know, his views. And today, many people think that Martin Luther was born and he thought that he was going to be this liberator. No, he was just doing his thing,
Yeah.
and the consequence is fame.
Whoa.
It's not.
that
It's
is
not
so
the
good.
focus.
Yeah.
You shouldn't focus on popularity or being recognized. You should focus on the little thing, and the little thing, when you do it over and over, it becomes big.
It's what take you
You know.
further.
I love that, making a difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very powerful, Joseph.
Yeah.
I feel like you're just here to lecture us. Like, I'm feeling really motivated.
Yeah, yeah.
We need to have a
obviously,
chat
But
after
it's
this.
good. That means he's a real youth advocate. He's
Yeah,
I feel
I think the
empowered.
society
Yeah.
needs that.
Yeah.
Young people here
We
need
do,
that.
we do,
Yeah,
especially
it's
young
gonna-
black people seeing like you being an example and helping, setting a trail, like a trailblazer. That's how I see what you're saying. That's how I see it. Well, are we ready to get into, you know, the
Yes.
love? When we hear the word
Bring
love.
it on. Just
Love
that thing
as
for
well.
us.
So yes, love, is it real or just an illusion? I just want Joseph to quickly dive into, you know, what is the first time that you noticed that you were in love, and how was that for you?
Well, to be honest with you, like, this question is very broad, and
It
I
is
don't
very
think
broad.
my answer can be relevant to everyone, but I
Yeah.
will speak what I know.
Yes, yes.
You see, when I went to Bible school, I learned the foundation of Western philosophy is the Greeks. They construct the language you speak. And so they have two main words that they use to define the word love. One is eros, where we get the word erotic, or agape, which is love. But then people say, I love my dog, I love my car. So what is love? So we have to go back to the Greek to have an understanding of what the concept of love really means from the people who founded this modern language, and what do they really mean. So agape love, people may not be aware of it, is unconditional love. And unconditional love, it's something that is not easy because it requires maturity and a level where one has to reach to just to focus on one thing, give without expecting anything back.
Right.
Yeah. So
And I had relationships that did not work because I didn't understand that concept. So God had to work inside me to a place where I have to be like Him. God is a giver. He doesn't ask anything back. And so to me, in my simple definition of what love is the ability to give without limit.
yeah.
You know?
It's to give without.
Limit.
Without-
yeah.
yeah. Wow.
And the more, because love is connected to giving. You cannot give without love. You can't give your time, your energy, your resources. And to go further on without asking anything back, you must not be a human. Because
Yeah.
humans do
Yeah.
things with interest. And so once I understood this, I became more stable as a person, because first thing is I had to accept myself for who I am. First I have to love myself, because we go seeking for love, but we don't love ourselves. You know? So in the context of relationship, I had to grow. And then after I understood this concept, it changed my life. That love is all about giving without asking anything back.
Oh, wow, that's
So,
good.
would you say have you fallen in love, like
Yes.
that kind of love we're talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
And how
Are
was
you-
it like? Tell
Um,
us, like, if when you
I
how
know-
did that?
feel-
I know we
Yeah,
live in
yeah.
a society where everything is euphoric. We're watching Marriage at First Sight and all
Yeah,
these things.
yeah.
It happened so quickly.
My answers are not going to be pleasing to the viewers.
No, your
but,
answers should be coming from you, and that's
Yeah.
that's what we
but
want.
what I can say is, it's not something that we can use our human mind to express it. It's
Yeah.
I could say divine, but I don't want to be too spooky because this is not a spiritual show. But I could say that
Yeah.
it's a deep connection that makes you live by instinct rather than your intellect. For example, you can look at somebody and connect the dots that, oh, she looks good.
Yes.
She has the same career as mine, so that means we can work together. And this is how the world connects today. But the problem with that is, what if things do not work out? What if she change careers in the future? Or you change careers? Does that mean this relationship is going to die? But instincts don't have answers, but they come deep from the heart. And when you follow your heart, you will never go wrong.
Yeah.
Because your heart knows the truth, but your mind knows facts. You know?
I like your point,
Yeah.
but I just want you to say something about like how you feel just loving this person that you're in
Oh,
love
have you
with.
fallen in love before?
He has.
has.
He just admitted
Okay,
it. So what is that feeling?
And what was it
Yeah.
like?
Let me try to put it in words.
At what point? At what
Trying to put that feeling, you know,
At what
like
point
that.
did you
Maybe he likes
felt
fashion,
that
so
this
maybe
is love?
colors. Maybe you can speak in colors.
Personality
Don't put words on his
and understanding the person is beyond their appearance.
Yes, yes.
It's a feeling of assurance.
Yeah.
Because the thing is this here, what we fear as human beings is being hurt. Because we value acceptance. But we don't want rejection. Because we're not designed to be rejected beings. So every fear in every relationship is rejection. Why? Because maybe you may not be perfect or you cannot satisfy that person's demands. Because we have this conditional relationship. So everyone goes into a relationship with all these preconceived ideas because of how society has structured us, seeing these in our families, friends. That's how many relationships work. But acceptance, assurance, knowing that, you know what, despite whatever happens in life, you can go through those difficult times with that person. It's an assurance, it's a feeling of assurance, a feeling where you don't have to go through 20 people just to finally say, oh, I finally made it after you've been bashed, trashed, killed. Your emotions are tormented and you're like, you know what, let me just do this for the purpose of just fitting in, you know. So I could say assurance and just feeling relief.
What about you,
That's
ladies?
really powerful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joseph. Very powerful.
For me, it's not as good as he just put it. I feel like I'm in a therapy session. I'm like, whoa, I do that all the time.
Joseph
I
is
shouldn't be
giving us
doing
stuff,
that.
yeah.
But for me, I'm the type of person, I don't care what anyone thinks of me because I'm just like, I'm happy to be by myself. I'm happy to do whatever I want to do. I don't need your approval, your acceptance. But then for me, when I find that I've never been in love, but when I find someone that I truly care about or I want them to want me back, like how you were saying, you want them to accept you.
Like
so then
reciprocate.
I start to like overthink myself. I'm like, okay, does he think I'm cool? Does he like what I do? Does he think do I inspire him? So I start caring too much about what that person thinks of me and how they perceive me. And I feel like I have never been in love, but I feel like that's when I know that this person. Well, I've told myself that that's when I know that this person is like I actually care about them because now I'm starting to think of what does he think of me?
Yeah, so you
But
start
then
to be
I also
conscious
feel like,
about the things you do, right?
Yes,
Acceptance,
yes.
yeah.
But then you say
Yeah.
you like the person and you wanted them to. But
To
would you
accept
not
that.
describe that as you are like falling in love with that person?
I don't know.
But
Or
for
you
you,
just don't have a
she's-
word
I don't
for
know.
it?
I don't know.
For
Yeah.
you, you're saying that's where you feel like that you're in love.
Maybe,
and I
yes.
actually, that could be true. Like for me, is when that person stopped calling me. Not like when I start to look at my phone and going, why hasn't it rang? You know,
Rang
the whole
you or
day,
texted
like
you.
or message. Like you start to stalk the person. You start to think about what the person is doing. You know, so you've been on WhatsApp, for example. You came in there 9 a.m. and you have a
then read
message.
your
Who were you talking? Who did you? You know,
Yeah.
you're thinking, who is that person that is occupying the space, you know, that you're supposed to be in? So something like that. And then when someone
back to
else like
acceptance.
rings your phone and it's not the person you're expecting, you go
So you're
mad.
like kind of anticipating
Yeah.
that call or that
It's
text.
coming.
And
Like,
then
it has
that's
to
how
call.
you know, like, oh,
I
I'm in love
think
now.
there's something going wrong. I think
Yeah. Do you guys believe, like, Joseph, it's funny you mentioned, like, love at first sight, because I actually do believe in love at first sight. Like, there's that energy that person will give you, and it's always so real. You know, when they say, you never know until you know, like,
Yeah.
I know that I know, and I kind of didn't believe that until, like, you meet a person and they, like, your energy just flows. You know what I mean? It's like you guys have that level of understanding that's beyond words.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have the same sort of beliefs, or you have the same there's nothing
Like a
blocking
chemistry,
that.
like it
a
just
chemistry
flows.
that's there.
But that is not
Sometimes,
always there, though.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And sometimes
happens.
it's there, but
that
then
happens.
it doesn't mean much.
Yeah, for me, I feel sometimes it's not always like it doesn't always go 50-50. Like I meet you now, we click and it happens. You can meet someone and you love the person and the person isn't feeling the same way. And that's when you see some people giving like more than the other person is giving back. So you start to go, because some people expect that love should be 50-50, like Joseph was mentioning, give and not expect back. today we have that misconception of saying, yeah, because I'm giving, I expect to be given equally.
Yeah.
And it's up to you if you've given 50% and you go, I want him to reciprocate back with 50%, but if he doesn't, I'm just going to call it short, like just let it go. It's up to you. Most people do continue because it takes time for other people to get to understand that, okay, I think there's some sort of thing going on here that I should reciprocate.
Talking of misconceptions, you know, that's a good point. I like how you've said about like giving and expecting to receive, and as Joseph said, like it's just about giving, you know, giving without expecting
any
back.
limits.
But then, Joseph, do you feel like there's a misconception when it comes to love, especially with young people? We are living in an age where we are on Insta, we are on social media. Everything is like microwave. It's
on Tinder.
So, you know, on Tinder, where you swipe, right?
I'm not on that
When
one.
you just swipe left.
in 2 seconds.
Is it left or right?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay,
Whichever
okay.
way. You're just swiping.
I'm not even on Tinder.
Any
Linda.
misconceptions that you can share from your experience or from what you know that young people have about love?
I think misconceptions is really one way to describe what love has been taken as by many. And I think to be clear on some points I could connect to what you guys are saying is people go into a relationship with this euphoric idea that it's going to be lovely, and they go into it with a longingness to be with someone for a reason that is selfish, but they don't know that until they get into it. And the misconception comes from what is portrayed. And portrayal is like they're trying to sell something, and society has a definition of love that is not genuine sometimes, and it can mislead people. Genuine people can be misled. It's not that the people are bad, it's the information that they're fed that mislead them. And things like what we've been touching here, the issue of selfishness. I always feel that the critical moment for someone to be free from misconception is to know that the time that they're going to enter into a relationship, they have mastered themselves, you see? And what I'm talking about is very hard out there for people who may be listening, because it's like the hard way, and many people are like, no, I want the easy way. But then if we look at relationship just as a little game where you sign 2-month contract, then it's okay. Let's just follow the misconception. But if you want something that is fruitful and is going to last long and is going to change the society to have a standard, then we have to avoid the misconception. And misconception is what I've told you, going into a relationship to get what you want. It doesn't work like that. It's the opposite. And this is why people fight, because then you realize this thing doesn't stop. You have to give, whether you like it or not. And then you're like, no, I'm here to take. And then the other person is like, no, I'm here to take. And also selflessness, being able to surrender yourself to the other person. And all these things where people want to be in a relationship but still own their, not privacy, but they want to be like,
They still want to keep
you know?
their bit.
There's no trust.
You know?
I guess
They have
Trust.
like 2 lives. The
I guess
relationship life and another life.
That's when I'll probably, like we're talking about vulnerability as well, like when someone is in love with you and that person is not vulnerable, like to the core, I feel like that's not going to work for me really. You have to be vulnerable, because I feel like your weakness is actually what I need to tap on for that. So if you're not vulnerable, it means you're not comfortable. It means there's something you're keeping out, like privacy sort of thing. So why are you there? Really?
I just wanted to add in that the misconception is people think that love is a feeling, but it's not. It's a choice you make, and you commit to that choice, because feelings change 5 times a day or more.
It does.
And the thing is this.
Women's feelings.
You're preaching to the choir.
Somebody could do something to you that make you think twice, that is this the right person? Why did I make this decision, bad decision? And then the next minute they can do something good to you, and then you'll be like, I reverse back over. Because we as human beings, we have feelings, and those feelings, they can mislead us. And so I think the biggest misconception among young people is they think love is a feeling, but the thing is, feelings don't have facts. They are neither right or wrong. It's just feelings. But love, to me, the way I look at it is, if people see it as a decision that needs accountability and a free will to back it up, but when it gets really tough, that's when love is actually seen. Because I could say to somebody that I love them, but if they're suffering and I have $5 in my pocket and I can give them food, and I keep that $5 and walk away, and I've said that I've loved them, is that really love? So love is only demonstrated in struggles and hardship. I'm not saying here that let somebody abuse you and then keep doing good to them. The line is very thin. There's abusers out there in relationships, and if you're being abused, run for your life. You know, I'm not supporting the idea of being abused and just saying I'm going to be a humble servant here. Whatever you do, I'm just going to no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that love is not a feeling, and if you think love is a feeling, you can go on the wrong path and you could regret later on and just conclude this whole thing and like I'm done with the relationship. I'm just going to be single for the rest of my life. There's nothing wrong with that as well. You want to be single? Don't be single because you are hurt, because that's not the right reason. Be single because you're happy to be single. A lot of people are single because they are hurt, not because they're happy to be single.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I really don't like this song that's playing.
No, that's
This is the song that he's singing
the one that sings,
the one
You don't
about.
like it.
Because it's the
Have you
truth.
had a misconception yourself? Like, have you?
Well, for me, to add on to the point that he was saying, it's just sometimes people think like love is something beautiful in a sense that there's good and also there's bad, and you like if you stick for the on the road and you keep going, it will get to a good position. But for me, sometimes people think that when a lot of young people that I know, a lot of young women, they think that when love is not hard, like if you guys don't have a lot of drama in your life, people are not fighting, people are not disagreeing,
That's
it's
not love.
it's boring. It's like this is not exciting. It's like it's not going anywhere. But then I feel like love, in a sense, even though you grow as a person in your journey, it's something beautiful, but it's also something simple.
Yeah.
You're saying it's as simple as giving yourself. So it should be the misconception I think is that people think that it should always be hard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to love
that's-
someone and to give. It's not that hard. You just
Yeah.
have to be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I guess another thing as well is, the misconception of thinking that love should fill a particular gap in you.
An
Like,
emptiness or
it
something.
should make you
Yes,
happy.
yes,
If this person, if it has to make you happy, and if you build it on that, that's totally wrong, because you have to make yourself happy before someone else. And if you can't do that, no one can
That's a
do
good
that for
point.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like with the misconceptions, especially the young people, the most common misconceptions that they have about love is that it should come in a certain package.
Yes.
It's like
And it's
this,
tied,
especially
it's
like it's wrapped in a bow, like and delivered at your door.
Yeah.
But they forget that, especially like if you want something, be that thing, like be that thing. Like for me, if I want a millionaire, I obviously have to be working towards towards that. You know what I mean? Because love will not come.
I think
love
it's
will
very
not find
good
me
point
that
you've mentioned, like the expectations.
The
like
expectations
a good
and
example is
everything.
this, People who watch
expectations.
reality TV shows,
Yeah.
what they forget is that this is scripted to a degree where they want to
I
sell
was
you
just gonna
something.
say that.
And so if you see that person, right, they only portray the good side of whatever they're trying to sell you. They're not going to show you the bad side because it's not going to sell to you.
Yeah.
The
So
bad and
these
the ugly.
put expectations
Yes.
where maybe a young girl or a young guy could be like, I want this type of a woman. But the question is, are you that type of a man for that woman? That's because it comes back to you. Like we put expectations on people, and I think that is another misconception where we think there is this perfect person out there.
A perfect person.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is so true.
Yeah.
Anyway, just hold on, guys, because we will be right back. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue with this very, very large and I don't know what to say.
It is a therapy session. I like that one.
This session that we're having about love, is it real or an illusion? We'll be back.